to govern ourselves with full control over our political, social, and economic affairs, free from any external influence. This control provides us with the opportunity to address historical issues and inequalities from the colonial rule as we work towards a more equitable and inclusive society. Consequently, ladies and gentlemen, we are presently able to implement our own policies tailored towards our unique needs and priorities regionally and nationally, leading to more relevant and effective economic development strategies. Part of these strategies inform the reason we are here today. Following the decentralization of the national decentralization of celebrations from the capital city of Nairobi to make them rotational across the country for them to tap the resultant benefits. For example, hosting tomorrow's 61st Mashujaa Day celebrations here in Kwale County has yielded a number of projects, including improvement of the 10,500 capacity Kwale Stadium to international standards, elevating of the County Commissioner's residence to a mini state lodge, and upgrading from earth to bitumen standard of a number of roads and streets in Kwale town along the approach road to Kunda Airport, all covering a length of 10 kilometers. And the extension of the apron at the Kunda Airport to accommodate more aircrafts. Essentially, these developments have raised the county's profile, enhancing its allure for tourism as they reinforce the existing tourism attraction sites in Diani, packed by the scenic sceneries of the Indian Ocean. Ladies and gentlemen, these projects build to the portfolio of the ongoing projects the government is implementing across the coastal region under the bottom-up economic agenda, BETTER. The BETTER projects cut across key areas of our economy, including social, financial, and production, infrastructure, land and natural resources, and governance and public administration sectors. On the social sector, it covers universal health care, social protection programs, affirmative action funds, and education in form of schools and the technical training institutions, among others. The projects under this sector include the Kwale Stadium, which is currently going on, and many other projects that we are undertaking across the region. Under education, projects have gained a lot from the BETTER projects, among them the Kenya Coast National Polytechnic, which is a TVET institution with an enrollment of over 7,000 students, projected to reach 10,000 students upon completion of the Kwale campus, which is situated at Wa. The Polytechnic employs 120 trainers, resulting in a trainee ratio of 1.46. Kenya Coast National Polytechnic is also a recipient of the new equipment for the hospitality and fashion design departments, provided under the arrangements between the government of Kenya and China. Other beneficiaries in the education sector include Weru Technical Training Institute, located in Kilifi County, with an enrollment of 1,320 students. The institution employs 36 trainers, resulting in a trainee ratio of 1.36. It's a beneficiary of the new equipment also provided under the GOK China arrangement for the automotive engineering department, and is also expecting additional equipment from the Canadian government valued at 100,000 Canadian dollars by the end of October. The region also has benefited through the recruitment of 4,308 teachers and teacher interns, with 1,221 covering the primary level, among them 646 interns, 3,001 for the junior secondary school, with 2,551 interns and 86 for the post-primary level. The finance and production economy sector, this sector incorporates the blue economy, that is the fishery sector and the cash crop value chains. We also have other funds in this sector, which is the Hustler Fund, we have the Youth Fund, we have the Women Fund, and also in that sector, we also have many other projects, especially in upgrading our markets. In Kwale, especially Kwale here in Ukunda, we have a market which is coming up, and also we have a market that is coming up in Watamu in Kilifi County. We also have the Kwale County Aggregation and the Industrial Park. The Industrial Park entails the construction of two main blocks currently, Block 1 and is, which will house warehouses, is almost complete, while Block 2 of the aggregation warehouses is still going on and at foundation level. Construction of the perimeter wall, administration ablution block, and other projects that are accompanying all these projects are ongoing. We have the Dongokundu SEZ in Mombasa County. The project was conceptualized and the Kenya-Japan government signed on the 28th in 2016. Currently, this project is going on, and we already have an investor on the ground, that is Taifa Gas, which is already which has already broken ground, and the construction is going on. We've had also a successful identification and relocating all the squatters that are who are staying in that ground, and already they have been compensated to move to new areas. We will also do a road at Dongokundu SEZ. This road, which will be called Mombasa Southern Bypass, to Defik, covering 4.6 kilometers, and a ramp of 2.8 kilometers. We'll also have a power transmission of 220 kV, which will serve the Dongokundu SEZ area. This project is ongoing, and we continue to ensure that there is no hassle, even for the contractor that has moved to the ground. On the blue economy, we have the Liwatoni modern tuna fish hub that was done in Mombasa, and this project is nearing completion. Much of the work has been done, and we expect that in due course it will be handed over so that the fishermen will be able to have a place to store their fish, even as we plan and move into other markets. We also have other projects in the blue economy. We have Kichwa Chakati and Ngomeni fishing landing areas in Kilifi County. We also have Kipini. At Kipini, we also have a fish landing site, which is ongoing, and at the moment really assisting the fishermen there, because they are even producing their own ice cubes so that they are able to store and preserve the fish that they are getting. Ladies and gentlemen, other projects under this sector comprise of Ngomeni. I've already said that. We have Diani ESP market in Kwale, Bangale ESP market in Tana River County, Watamu ESP market in Kilifi, ESP market in County, and the construction of Kinondoni Cotton Chinnery here in Kwale. All these projects are ongoing, and they have really contributed into job creation and also keeping our youths busy and keeping them away from crime, even as it improves on the livelihoods of households in this region. On the infrastructure sector, we have projects that are going on that are comprised of ports, shipping, housing, roads, and public works. We also have the ICT and digital superhighway, youth, sports, and creative arts, as well as water supply and industrial manufacture, under which we all have this. Maybe if I can mention a few, we have the proposed runway at Ukunda Airport that is already complete. The 1.2-kilometer runway is complete. And maybe 3 aircraft, it was irrigation project in food. There on a trial error, the milling factory that was in that area and which had not been working for so long is also being serviced. So this is a project in the Tana Delta which will really increase the contribute to food security in this country, even as well as overemployment to a number of youths in that region. In Tana River, also on the food security sector, we have the Bura Irrigation Rehabilitation Project. This project has a phase 1 of the gravity canal because
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima tutaangazia kilimo cha uyoga.
Mushroom kwanza ni ready food, very good for old people like me and for other old people. It is very rich in protein and it is cholesterol free.
Kisha tuelekee jikoni tuandae kitoweo cha uyoga. Ungana nasi Jumamosi saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1 kwa mseto kamili wa kilimo.
Kwa hiyo ina maana mimi sikuitisha pesa. Hapa ndani wala bure tu ukiamka bure.
Kwa maana kwamba hujui kama mimi sina pesa. Hujui taji mkopo sasa hivi ndio maisha yangu yawe sawa.
Mambo gani haya sasa? Mimi bado nahitaji pesa bana.
Wewe acha fujo zako hizo.
Mambo uko ngari dada. Bibi harusi na mamake sivyo alivyotuzwa. Alipochemsha bibi harusi.
Afadhali mimi ninaidanga dada sina mume. Ila kama mume ni huyu.
You can sing like this. Atoti, sonoka, sonoka. Atoti, sonoka, sonoka.
Ati kumwamini. Yaani uamini mwanaume.
Ate sasa.
Kama hii song inaiba kwa mwendwa wako Mariro. Mariro, yani that rap song.
Kinyanjui, is that a rap song?
What I mean is punguza umama. Wacha wasichana tuongee.
You are the one from America. Yeah, I did story from Africa. And then go to America. Oh, yo, yo.
We're here because times have changed, and family ownership of a franchise is no longer viable. It's time to sell the team, Dad. This isn't personal, this is business. If you read the reports, you'd see.
I'd like to speak privately to my wife.
Ex-wife.
You see Mr. Cornell through the door? Hey, whoa, just a minute there, Arthur. Because my lawyers can be ruthless as well. Hell! You could throw me out, Frankie! But I'll be here when you get home.
Let's hear those cougars roar, roar!
You are making a big mistake, lady.
So you're gonna prey on her weakness for you to stop her from selling the team?
Believe me, I have.
Frankie!
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out.
Who's the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevaa kichwani.
Sio wakati tulikuwa tunapishwa tunapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow. Wow. Yeah!
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Sherehe za Kenyatta hutukumbusha mwanzo wa taabu na mateso yaliyowapata Wanakenya katika kupigania uhuru wa nchi yetu kutoka mikononi mwa wakoloni. Ilikuwa ni tarehe 20 Oktoba mwaka 1952. Wakoloni wakamkamata mzee Jomo Kenyatta pamoja na viongozi na Wakenya wengi wengine kwa mashtaka ya kuwa ni kiongozi wa Mau Mau. Kwa kukumbuka tukio hili, sote wana Kenya tumekuwa tukisherehekea siku hii kama Kenyatta Day.
Tangu kabla hadi taifa hili kupata uhuru likiwa chini ya himaya ya wafalme hadi kuingia kwa utawala wa ukoloni Julai 23 mwaka 1923, jitihada za kutaka kujitawala zilikuwa zimebisha hodi. Maneno kama vile madaraka, uhuru na jamhuri hayakuwa na msingi wowote hapa nchini wakati huo. Juhudi za kupata taifa ambalo ni huru zilisababisha kubuniwa kwa makundi ya kuhakikisha uhuru huo hausalii kuwa tu kitendawili kisichokuwa na jawabu, lakini kuona kwamba nchi hii inajitawala. Mojawapo wa makundi hayo ni lile la Mau Mau ambalo shughuli zake hazikutambuliwa.
I repeat and confirm that in my view, Jomo Kenyatta's release would be at present a danger to security. The decision is mine. By this statement, I wish to make it clear that accordingly he will remain under restriction.
Na ili kutambua na kupongeza bidii za kundi hilo, wazo lilitolewa la kutengwa kwa siku moja hapa nchini kusherehekea mashujaa hao ambao hawakufa moyo kuhakikisha uhuru wa taifa hili unapatikana. Mnamo mwaka 1958 juhudi ziliwekwa ili kuadhimisha Oktoba 20, siku ambayo mtangulizi wa taifa hili mzee Jomo Kenyatta alitiwa nguvuni. Kenyatta alitambuliwa kuwa kiongozi shupavu na alikuwa kiongozi wa chama cha Kenya African Union KAU wakati huo. Tangu mwaka 1942 Kenyatta aliongoza chama cha KAU huku akitekeleza mabadiliko katika chama hicho yaliyopinga sera za wakoloni. Hatua hiyo ilisababisha Kenyatta atiwe nguvuni mwaka 1952 akiwa na wanasiasa wenzake Bildad Kagia, Paul Ngei, Kungu Karumba, Fred Kubai na Achieng Oneko ambao baadaye walifahamika kama Kapenguria 6.
Will you press for the release of Jomo Kenyatta?
Certainly, yes.
How?
Again, by intensifying our efforts and more pressure on the British government and also the Kenya government, and using whatever influences we've gained from this present constitution for further efforts to secure his release.
Viongozi wengine mashuhuri wa chama hicho kama vile Mboya walipendekeza kuwa siku ambayo Kenyatta alikamatwa iadhimishwe kama siku ya uhuru au siku kuu ya kitaifa.
Kwamba ilikuwa siku ya machozi, ilikuwa siku ya huzuni kwa watu wetu wengi. Na mimi nasema watu wetu wengi, sababu kulikuwa tu na sehemu kidogo ambayo ilikuwa ikifikiri wabeberu wataishi milele katika nchi yetu. Na ndio nilisema katika misemo yangu kwamba tuliwasemehe hao, sababu kama tungekumbuka vitendo vyao vichafu tungekasirika. Lakini mimi nikasema tuwasemehe, sababu hawakujua wafanyalo.
Siku kuu ya kwanza ya Kenyatta Day iliadhimishwa mwaka 1962. Miaka kadhaa baada uhuru, sherehe hiyo iliadhimishwa ambapo msafara wa rais ulipita katikati ya jiji, wananchi wakishangilia na kuhitimishwa na hotuba ya rais.
Governor kwa sababu ya kushirikiana nasi na kuhakikisha kwamba yale yote tulikuwa tunayaandaa tumeyaandaa vyema, na pia amechukua nafasi hata ya kipekee akiwa peke yake akitembelea hizi sehemu kuhakikisha kwamba mambo yako swari. It's an exceptional partnership na tunaomba kwamba tuendelee kushirikiana kwa pamoja ili tuhakikishe kwamba sherehe yetu iko sawa sawa. Asanteni sana, karibu Mashujaa, karibu Kwale.
Thank you so much, Alsi. Tumpigie makofi kwa hiyo speech mzuri ametupatia. Thank you Madam Alsi. Ningetaka kuwafahamishia kwamba tumepata wageni wengine. Tuko na PS Kisiangani, tuko na PS ya tourism, and we have also my friend, the government spokesperson. I want to take this opportunity to invite mtoto yenyu mwenyeji, mtu ya kutoka hapa Kwale, Mwanaisha Sisuga, anene yake kidogo, tunafanya kazi naye huko Nairobi, hata yeye aseme kwa sababu yeye ni mwenyeji, lazima awe na jambo anaweza sema, alafu akaribishe bosi yake, government spokesperson. Mwanaisha, tafadhali.
Naam, Madam Arsi Roda Onyancha, msemaji wa serikali Daktari Isaac Mwaura, PS wa utalii John Olotua, na PS wetu katibu mkuu wa mawasiliano na utangazaji Profesa Kisiangani, na wanahabari mlio hapa na wenyeji wa Kwale, hamjambo. Wale Waislamu, asalamu alaikum. Naam, natumai nyote msalamu wa salimini. Mashujaa imefika haijafika. Waswahili wasema haiwi hatimaye huwa. Na ile siku ilikuwa tunaisubiri kwa hamu kuu hatimaye imetimia, kwani kesho tarehe 20 mwezi wa 10 kaunti ya Kwale inaweka historia katika mkoa wa Pwani na taifa kuwa kaunti ya kwanza kuweza kusheheni ama kusimamia sherehe kubwa ya Mashujaa Day. Ilikuwa ni miaka 61 tangu Kenya iweze kupata uhuru wake. Kwa hivyo tunawapa hongera kwanza kwa uongozi wa kaunti, kwa uongozi wa Pwani, idara za usalama, kuhakikisha kwamba mipango na harakati zinaendelea vizuri, na vile vile mipango kamilika ili tayari wa Kenya kutoka maeneo mbalimbali waweze kufika na kujumuika na Rais William Samoei Ruto katika maadhimisho ya siku ya Mashujaa kote nchini. Mimi yangu ni mafupi tu, ni kutoa shukrani za dhati kwa serikali kuu kwa kuweza kuwekeza katika eneo la Pwani, haswa katika kaunti ya Kwale ambayo mimi ni mzaliwa wa hapo. Maana wanasema mgeni njoo mwenyeji wa pwani, na wale hawajafika Kwale madukani nafikiri wakati umefika waweze kufika ujionea. Maana stadium sasa imeimarika, barabara zimetengezwa, na vile vile utalii umeweza kukua. Tumewakaribisha wageni wengi kutoka maeneo mbalimbali hapa nchini. Wengine itakuwa ni mara yao ya kwanza kufika hapa Kwale. Lakini nawasihi vile vile wenyeji na wakaribisha mjitokeze kwa wingi kwa wakati ufaao ili waweze kujumuika na kusikia yale mazuri ambayo serikali imeweza kupanga. Mada kuu ya Mashujaa Day ya mwaka huu ni masuala ya affordable housing. Na eneo la Pwani ni mojawapo ya maeneo ambayo yamefaidi pakubwa kupitia mpango wa affordable housing. Miradi hiyo ikiwa maeneo ya Kwale, ikiwa katika kaunti ya Mombasa ambao tayari mingine imeshakamilika, na ukiangalia mtazamo wa Kenya nzima tumeweza kuajiri zaidi ya vijana 200,000 kupitia mpango huu wa affordable housing. Na Pwani vile vile vijana hawajawachwa nyuma, wameweza kupata ajira katika mfumo huo wa affordable housing. Leo si siku yangu, wakubwa wangu wako hapa, lakini nawatakia kila laheri na kuwapa mwaliko wa Pwani wote, wa Kenya wote pale walipo waweze kufika katika uwanja Kwale Stadium kesho asubuhi mapema kuanzia mwendo wa saa 12 waweze kujienjoy na kujumuika na kusikiliza ujumbe wa rais. Vile vile natumai itakuwa ni mara ya kwanza wa Kenya kuweza kuona naibu mpya mgeni wa taifa la Kenya, Profesa Kithure Kindiki. Tunampa hongera na tukimtakia kila laheri. Na kwa sasa basi moja kwa moja namkaribisha na mwana PS Tanui vile vile ameweza kuwasili. Karibu bwana katibu, karibu Kwale County. Na sasa basi namkaribisha msemaji wa serikali, Mheshimiwa Daktari Seneta Isaac Mwaura.
Habari zenu, mko salama? Naona kama hatuelewani. Habari zenu? Unajua msemaji wa serikali akiwa, basi serikali iko hapa, ama namna gani? Na tuko hapa na viongozi wetu. Asante sana Mwanaisha, naibu wangu wa kutoka hapa Kwale, ambaye amekuwa akituwakilisha katika maandalizi haya. Na watu wa OGS, tafadhali simameni tuwaone. Watu wa afisi ya msemaji wa serikali tusimame kidogo, tuwapigie makofi. Asante sana, mnaweza kuketi. Tunashukuru PS Kisiangani, PS Tanui na RC wetu, na kule kujumuisha kwa pamoja kwa serikali katika idara tofauti, ambapo tunashukuru kuona PS rafiki yangu PS Ololtua ambaye ni wa idara ya taifa ya utalii, ama idara taifa ya utalii, na wafanyikazi wale wengine wote ambao wako hapa. Namuona RC Bionyancha na command structure yake hapa. We are very delighted to work with you, members of the fourth estate, because without you we cannot be able to transact as a government. In fact and indeed, the relationship between the government and the media is that of Siamese twins, because we are joined at the hips. Why? We who are in the government, both national and county, work very hard to ensure that we deliver to the people who made it possible for us to be in power. So we have a responsibility to superintend over the public affairs in the most transparent, in the most economical, in the most efficient way, in order to procure the best interests of the people. And so therefore, the idea of decentralizing national celebrations has come in handy, because it speaks of the spirit of the 2010 Constitution, in that now we have a partnership between the national and county governments, such that some of the goodies that are left behind is a whole stadium that can be used for local sports and such other activities. And I'm very happy to see that this whole visit, this whole tour of duty, is not just another inspection of the guard of honor. Kama vile Waswahili wanasema kukwagua gwaride la heshima. We have tangible things that we can speak about. Number one, we have a whole stadium of 10,200 capacity. We have a mini state lodge. It's unfortunate that maybe somebody will be misplaced, but that's it, because it's an upgrade. And it is also true that consistently, as PS Tourism was informing me, that Diani has been voted as the best beach in Africa for so many years now. It is the fastest growing airport, and so this is the place to be. In fact, I was joking with PS Kisiangani. I'm asking him, where did he sleep? And he's telling me he's sleeping at North Coast. So I think we envy each other, because this is a better place, it's more calmer. Now, when you look at the history of our republic, at independence, there were three things that the government at that point in time were trying to resolve. That is poverty, ignorance, and disease. But if you look further, the social paper that was presented in England in similar circumstances in the 20th century, they added two things: squalor and idleness. Now, looking at the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, ladies and gentlemen, those are still the 5 things that we are trying to deal with in terms of our pillars. If you talk about poverty, it's about jobs. If you talk about ignorance, it's about education. If you talk about illness, it's about better health care. If you talk about squalor, it's about housing. And if you talk about idleness, again, it's about jobs and meaningful engagement. Look at the 5 pillars. We have health care, now we have SHA, and I believe everybody here has registered. We have MSMEs to fight poverty and the Hustler Fund. We have agriculture so that people can have food and they be able to be strong. And we also have the whole issue of housing, that indeed is the theme of the Mashujaa Day that we are celebrating today. Kwamba kuwa na nyumba ni kuwa shujaa. Ambia mwenzako hivyo. Kuwa na nyumba, kuwa na nyumba. Bwana, si mmekula breakfast bwana. Kuwa na nyumba ni kuwa shujaa. So please let us register 832# and get an opportunity to own a house. Never before in the history of the Republic of Kenya has any government been able to build so many houses at a go. Currently, we are going towards the mark of 124,000 houses. And the target, as per the President William Ruto, we are targeting between 200 and 250,000 houses a year, with an aim of constructing over 700,000 houses by the end of the 5 years. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have your 2 million shillings, you can get a 2-bedroom house across the country. In fact, if you go to Murang'a in Mackenzie, with only 960,000, you can get a bed sitter, otherwise known as a studio, and you only need to pay 10%, that is 96,000. So many people take the opportunity. Don't belabor the point, don't be a naysayer. Many people will be homeowners as you wait. And I want to urge my fellow public servants that when we get that deduction, that levy, even if you own a home, even if you are servicing another mortgage, it is for the benefit of other fellow Kenyans in the spirit of democracy and equality. So ladies and gentlemen, I think this is a great opportunity. I know PS Kisiangani will be speaking further, but I want to call you and urge members of the fourth estate to help us to tell this story of affordable housing by bringing out the experiences of the beneficiaries so that we can show to Kenyans that indeed we are living up to the expectations as per the promises that we made when we were campaigning. I believe Kenya is a great nation. Kenya is a wonderful country. Kenya will move far despite the naysayers, despite the evidence to the contrary. I am an optimist and a patriot, and I believe that all of us will work together to join hands to ensure that we achieve the dream that is Kenya. Kenya itainuka. Kenya itasimama. Kenya itanawiri kwa umoja na uzalendo. Mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo. Je, wewe? Asanteni sana.
Tupige makofi kwa senator. Hata mimi ni mzalendo kabisa kabisa. Asante sana senator kama spokesperson. Nachukua nafasi hii kukaribisha PS Kisiangani ambaye atakaribisha wenzake wale wamemlete pande hii. PS Kisiangani, tafadhali karibu. Tupigie makofi wakati anakuja.
Asante sana, asante sana. Kabla sija ongea sana, nadhani tuko hapa Mwanaisha atatufundisha Kiswahili. Mambo mengi sana yanatendeka hapa. Anaweza kuongea mfululizo juu ya nyumba, matibabu, bila kusita sita akiongea Kiswahili. Sasa mahali ambapo tumeshindwa ama pengine tunatafuta neno sahihi na huu mustakabala wetu wa bottom up, yeye ako tayari kusaidia. Lakini kile ninataka kusema ni kwamba mimi sijasindikishwa hapa kuja na wenzangu. Serikali imekuja hapa na iko hapa. Kuna kitengo cha serikali kiko hapa, mmeona vigoko wa serikali wako hapa, viongozi wale wanaosimamia utawala hapa wako hapa. Hao ndio wanashikilia mambo ya serikali hapa. Lakini sisi tunaotoka Nairobi tukifika hapa tunawauliza mambo inaendelea hivi vipi, na washatuambia kwamba mambo ni shwari. Na umeona RC wetu akiweza kudokeza mambo ya serikali hapa, akiorodhesha vitu ambavyo serikali imeweza kufanya hapa na inaendelea kufanya. Sasa kwa hivyo nimeandamana tu na wenzangu, hawajanishindikiza. Tumeandamana na wale wakubwa kutoka Nairobi, government spokes yako hapa, lakini niko na makatibu wawili ndugu zangu. Umeona kuna katibu wa utalii Bwana Ololtua John yako hapa. Katika wizara yetu tuko na makatibu wawili, mimi na Bwana Engineer John Tanui yako hapa. Sasa kabla ya kuendelea, ningeweza kuwakaribisha kwa sababu sisi huwa tunatembea kama serikali moja, hatuna mgawanyiko. Na mambo ambayo Ololtua anaongea ama katibu yoyote anaongea ni mambo ambayo yanawakilisha serikali nzima. Kwa hivyo nawaalika, wakitaka waongee kimvita, wakitaka waongee chichifundi, waongee kimrima, waongee kiamu, kingwana, kimtangata, lakini ama waongee Kiingereza waweze kuelezea mambo mafupi tu kuhusu sehemu yao ya kazi, ili basi wanipe ruhusa mimi naye nianze kuongea. Asante sana. Sasa nataka kuanza na ndugu yangu John Ololtua aweze kuongea kidogo juu ya utalii hapa pwani na katika Kenya yote nzima. Asante sana.
Asante sana katibu mwenzangu Profesa Kisiangani, katibu John Tanui, the government spokesman, the RC na viongozi wote wa serikali, wananchi wote kwa ujumla wa eneo hili la Kwale na pwani kwa ujumla. Amjambo. Amjambo. Hebu tusalamiane kwa hewa, naona kama mnanyamaza sana. Asante. Kama vile sijui kama nitatoboa Kiswahili, lakini wacha nijaribu. Kama vile mwenzangu amesema, mimi ni katibu wa utalii na jina langu ni John Ololtua. Asubuhi ya leo tumekuja ili tuwe pamoja na watu wa Kwale tunapojiandaa kwa sherehe ya Mashujaa Day ambayo itafanyika kesho ikiongozwa na Mheshimiwa Rais. Na mimi sitakuwa na mengi ya kusema. Jambo la kwanza, mambo ya utalii ni muhimu sana katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Maana ni mojawapo ya kuinua uchumi ya nchi yetu, na pia inaweza kusaidia mambo ya utamaduni wetu na mazingira yetu na mambo mazuri ambaye tuko naye kama Kenya. Lakini kwa sababu leo tuko Kwale, pengine niseme tu jambo moja ama mbili ambaye inahusu Kwale County. Jambo la kwanza, nataka kuwapongeza kwa sababu beach ya Diani kwa miaka mingi sana imekuwa eneo la leisure ama starehe pamoja na mikutano. Na nafikiri hata kuweka Mashujaa Day katika eneo hili ni mojawapo ya kuinua hapa kama a MICE destination. Diani Beach has been endorsed as the best beach in Africa, kwa upande ya usafi, kwa upande ya amani, na kwa upande pia ya upokezi ya wageni. Na kwa hivyo sisi kama utalii ama Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, kuna mambo mengi ambayo tunajaribu kuangalia katika eneo hili. Mojawapo ni capacity building. Tumekuwa tukiungana pamoja na stakeholders of the tourism industry kuhakikisha ya kwamba tumeweza kufanya capacity building ili watu waelewe vile ya kupokea wageni na yale mambo mazuri ambayo yanaweza kufanyika. Jambo la pili ambayo tulifanya tulipokuja kufanya mkutano pamoja na gavana wa eneo hili ni kujaribu kuangalia yale mazuri ambaye tunaweza kuongeza ili tufutie watalii. Najua tuko na beach, lakini pia tulisema tuongeze mambo ya utamaduni, tuongeze mambo ya wanyamapori na tuongeze mambo ya gastronomy ama chakula zetu za Kiafrika. Na tayari tuna mpango ya kuhakikisha kwamba tumetambua hizo na kuhakikisha kuona vile tutaweza kuijenga. Sisi kama tourism pia tulihusika pakubwa katika Ukunda airstrip ambayo tuliweza kutoa pesa kupitia kwa Tourism Promotion Fund ya kuexpand hiyo airstrip. Na wakati huu, kwa sababu najua utalii inategemea mambo mengi sana, mojawapo ni air travel, ya pili ni mabarabara, ya tatu ni mahoteli kama hizi ambaye niko na furaha sana maana nilipata ripoti ya kwamba zimejaa, na sio hapa Kwale peke yake, lakini imejaa katika nchi yetu ya Kenya, kwa sababu wageni wanaendelea kukuja. Na kwa hivyo hiyo Ukunda airstrip ambaye tuliweza kusupport through the Tourism Promotion Fund, tunazidi kuona kama kuna mambo mengine ambayo tutafanya. Tumeshaongea na gavana, kuna mambo ya beach cleaning pamoja na street lights na pamoja na map of Africa. Tuli-identify pia kuna eneo hapa ambaye ina picha kama map of Africa, na tulisema tutakuja kuona vile tunaiinua, just the way we want to see what we can do about Mombasa Old Town as an attraction site for tourism. Kwa hivyo mimi sitaki kusema mengi. Yale mambo ambaye pia tunafanya pamoja na Ministry of Transport ni mambo ya air transport. Anafikiri mnajua now we have a direct flight connection, Fly Dubai and many other airlines that we are trying to see whether we can have direct airlines also to Mombasa ili tuweze kupata njia ya kufanya wageni wakuje. Kwa hivyo kwa upande ya utalii nikimalizia, sisi tuna focus mambo karibu mawili. Ya kwanza ni kuona tutainua namna gani zile products ambaye tuko nazo. Najua tuko na safari, tuko na beach, lakini sasa tunataka kuongeza zile pengine ambaye hatujatangaza vizuri ili tuweze kutangaza. Na vile profesa amesema tunafanya pamoja. Kama utalii inategemea kila department iweze kufanya kitu ndio wageni wakuje, kwa sababu lazima iguse immigration, iguse transport, iguse security, iguse county government, iguse the private sector, iguse nyinyi waandishi wa habari kama watu ambao wanapenda nchi yao. Nyinyi pia mko na jukumu, si hata bila kuelezwa na waziri wa utalii ama PS wa utalii, nyinyi pia mko na jukumu katika villages zenu ama pale mnatoka ku identify kile kisuri ambaye iko hapo na muweze kuiproject, because utalii ni kusema ukitengeneza ikuwe mzuri na useme iko, watu watakuja tu. Kwa sababu mimi kama PS wa utalii, ile furaha yangu sana actually ni kuona wageni wamekuja wamejaa Kenya. Sasa hizi tuko na zaidi ya 2 milioni na tunatoka end of this year tupate 2.5 million, 2027 5 million. Lakini nafikiri mimi naweza kuwa na raha sana nikisikia tumepata watalii 10 milioni wamekuja katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Kama hapa Coast Wedding Tourism tayari tunaongea na Attorney General's Office kuona vile tutafungua hiyo njia ya wedding tourism. I know our neighbor Uganda wanapendanga kuja hapa sana kwa mambo ya wedding tourism. So sitaki kusema mengi, lakini nataka kusema ya kwamba mimi pia kama PS wa utalii nataka kuchukua fursa hii kumuunga mkono Regional Commissioner kwa kualika ya kwamba msienda haraka. Mkimaliza sherehe kesho tafadhali mbaki. Mimi nataka hii mahoteli yangu iendelee kujaa, iendelee watu wa coast hapa Kwale waendelee kuenjoy. So please msiende. Kimaliza si hata Monday ni public holiday. Mkae muenjoy area hii. Mkifanya hivyo, mimi kama PS Tourism, I think I will be very happy because we want to promote this region also iweze kuendelea mbele. Kwa hivyo asante ndugu yangu. Nafikiri nimejaribu Kiswahili. Umejaribu sana. Ama namna gani? Sawa sawa. Asante.
Amefanya vizuri sana. Ameongea vizuri. Sasa nataka kumkaribisha ndugu yangu. Najua ministry yetu ya Information Communication and Digital Economy iko na ma-PS wawili. Mimi ni PS wa broadcasting na telecommunication. Lakini kuna mwenzangu anasimamia mambo ya digital economy, mambo ya digitization ya serikali, mambo yote hiyo inafanywa na mwenzangu engineer John Tanui. So we are twins. Don't be surprised that we are here, the two of us. We always will find a way of locating each other. So I don't know, he's the bigger twin maybe. I'm the smaller twin and the noisy one. So Bwana Engineer Tanui, please come and say a few things to our people before I speak.
Asante sana, my colleague PS Kisiangani, PS Broadcasting and Telecommunications, my colleague PS John Olotua, PS of Tourism, government spokesman, the leadership of the county, regional commissioner, and the officers, the media. Good morning. We are really excited to be here in Kwale and the Mombasa or the coast region because of the hosting of 2024 Mashujaa Day. You are all aware of the government transformation of agenda, which focuses on 5 areas: agriculture, SMEs and cooperatives, housing, universal healthcare, and digital superhighway and creative economy. Myself and PS Kisiangani are supporting all the other sectors on the digital superhighway and creative economy. And some of the key areas we are looking at is, the first one is connectivity, to ensure we enhance connectivity within our country. And the second one is digitization. The third one is to ensure there is growth of what we call the digital economy and ensure that our country participates in this fast-growing economy, digital economy, which some countries have managed to push up to 40% of their GDP. We believe our country, with the potential we have, the youthful population, and the foundation that has been laid, our country can unlock huge opportunities for our youth, for job creation and wealth creation in the digital economy. The coast region is very important for our agenda in the digital superhighway and creative economy. We know Mombasa is known as the entry port to the region and the East African region through the port of Mombasa, which have our goods coming in and exceeding. And we are happy that the port of Mombasa, I'm told now, approaching 2 million TEU. So it's really growing fast and ranking globally amongst the top in the world in terms of its efficiency. In the digital space, the region of Mombasa is equally very important to us. It's hosting 7 submarine cables that enables our country to be a digital hub. And the capacity is approaching 700 TPs. So it's a huge capacity that is enabling our country to really position itself as a global digital hub. Yesterday, we had a chance to visit some of our important facilities here in Mombasa. We owe some of the global data centers that are serving the global digital space here in Mombasa because of this abundant connectivity. And we are attracting more such investment in our country to attract high quality jobs for our people, and we're very happy to meet engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, and IT engineers who are supporting this infrastructure hosted here in our country. We want to position this region, the coast region, to be a digital hub to connect the rest of the world. We're expecting the head cable to land very soon here in Mombasa, and will position our country better. And when we talk now of additional 100,000 kilometers, is now to ensure we connect every part of our country. We've connected all our county headquarters, our sub-county headquarters, and we are now going down to the world level so that each of the digital hubs we are building is connected. As of now, 274 digital hubs have been established, of which a large number of them are also here in the coast region. Over 20 of them are already operational in the county, in the coast region. Here in Kwale, we are actually launching one soon after this with the Member of Parliament, Honorable Fasal, and Senator Miraj, who is also the Vice Chairman of the Senate Committee of ICT. And we are also enhancing connectivity. We have already connected 35 institutions in Kwale County. And we have also a special arrangement now with Kenya Power to connect institutions with the support of funding under Universal Service Fund under BS Kisiangani. We are going to connect 51 public institutions here in Kwale. Across the coast region, we are going to connect 236 public institutions in the short term, but we are also planning to connect more institutions through the same funding, and also through the funding we have got called the Kenya Digital Economy Acceleration Program, a funding under the World Bank project. So this region is important for us. As we're doing across the country, we will ensure connectivity is done in the coast region, in Kwale, and we also ensure that we build the digital hubs in every ward, working in partnership with our members of parliament. This week also we have been in Mombasa under what we call Pwani Innovation Week, an event which is on its 5th year, enabling our young people to showcase their talent and their ideas and their innovations and startups. And we are very excited to be part of that session and engaging with the youth this week. And we were there the last 2 days to see how the startups of this country can move to the next level. And our government is committed to see that we support the growth of startups, because this is the area that will enable creation of jobs and enable our country to have companies that in the future will be the equivalents of Samsung's, equivalents of Microsoft, equivalents of Facebook, that are indigenous to our country, and we are laying the foundation to make that possible. I don't want to speak beyond there, but 2 other things we are doing in respect to connectivity. We worked with the private sector also to see that broadband is not just the physical connectivity, how to enable our citizens to have smartphones. And we engage our private sector, and we are very happy that our country has started seeing assembly of smartphones here in Kenya, manufacture of electronics. So it's a new thing which has happened within the last 2 years. We have now phones which are locally assembled here in Kenya. Over 2 million phones have already been assembled in the country, and it is creating something new which was not there before. We will see the rise of electronic industry in Kenya for our own local consumption and a potential for exports. We are also laying the foundation for what we call the semiconductor industry. This is an high-tech space requiring a lot of engagement with our academia and the private sector and global partnership. And we are happy that through the arrangement and the leadership of our president, Kenya has been designated a partner to the United States in semiconductor industry, and to be able to access funding and support under the CHIPS Act in the US to lay the foundations for our country to emerge as an electronics and semiconductor key player, to diversify the supply chains for the major technology companies in the world. So these are some of the foundations that we'll start seeing in our space, and we'll be engaging and sharing more. Thank you very much and wish you a great Mashujaa Day. Asante.
Thank you. Thank you very much, PS Tanui. Recognizing that many people have different engagements today in the countdown to Mashujaa, I just want to highlight a couple of things. I'm not very good at reading speeches, and that's why I'm sometimes a very difficult person to work with. My staff prepare for me things and I throw them away. It's like a child who throws away a blanket when it is very cold. So I enjoy talking to people directly rather than reading speeches. We are addressing a very, very important institution in our country, the media. Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate Mashujaa Day, it's not for lack of reason that we called this breakfast meeting and to talk to the media. The media, contrary to what people believe and what they keep talking about, the media is part of government. If you ever counted yourself out of government, you don't know your role. If you go back to the history of the media, you remember during the French Revolution, the media were critical in transforming France. That is where the name Fourth Estate came from. The First Estate, according to Baron Montesquieu, who you have come across when he was discussing about the separation of powers, the first branch of government is the legislature. These are people who make the laws. The second branch of government is the executive. And the executive implement the laws and policies which have been passed by the legislature. The third branch of government is the judiciary. And you see it works in Kenya. The judiciary arbitrates disputes and interprets the laws which have been passed by the legislature. The fourth branch of government, which is the overall police officer on the three branches, is the media. So members of the Fourth Estate in this country should stop thinking that they are not part of government. And we have come here deliberately as members of the executive, and I want to emphasize this. The people you see here as members of the executive, the PSS, the government spokesperson, and the administrators here, hawa ni watu wa mkono wa rais. Because the head of the executive is the president. So you are looking at watu wa mkono wa nani? Wa rais. So sisi ni watu wa mkono wa rais. Lakini hawa watu wa mkono wa rais cannot work alone. That is why they have come to say, let us explain to another branch of government. Usually we meet with the parliament. They also summon us to find out what we are doing. But now we have said we're coming for Mashujaa. RC is explaining easy what we are doing. We would like to tell our story to the overall policeman of the branches of government that I've just talked about, the Fourth Estate, the media. These branches of government don't sleep in the same bed. Ladies and gentlemen, these branches of government, if they sleep in the same bed, there will be no order in this country. They stay in a relationship where they check each other for there to be balance of power. So if anybody has told you that government is against the media. How can government be against itself when the media and the members of the Fourth Estate are a part of government? You are part of government not because you are serving a particular branch, but in your own right, you are the fourth branch of government. I wanted to correct this because as a privileged position, a privileged person who has been given some responsibility by the president, I need to explain this so that going forward, we do not start talking about the media across the bridge and the government across the other part of the bridge. We are in the same place. If today there is a problem in government and things are not working well for the executive, they will also not work well with the Fourth Estate. If the legislature is not doing a good job, you will also not operate. In fact, the laws under which the media operates on are crafted in parliament. You need parliament, parliament needs you. You need the executive needs you. So sometimes when we check each other, the impression that is given is that we don't like each other and we are not part of one house. Nothing can be further from the truth. So on this Mashujaa Day, ladies and gentlemen, after explaining that, I just want to say that we are at the cost, watu wangu wa media. We are at the cost. This cost, even as we celebrate Mashujaa, we must remember what it means to Kenya. My brother Tanui has talked about many things. 7 submarine cable landing sites to put us on the information superhighway. If they are not there, ata internet yenu hii haitakuwa. But that's not just what the coast is. We are here to celebrate also what the people of the coast have contributed to Kenya and to this region. You know about Mekatilili Wamenza. These are important people. The Giriama warrior. You know about Ronald Dengala. You know about Robert Matano. This region has produced great Kenyans. So nobody can undermine the value of this region. President Ruto believes in the efforts, contribution of the people of this region. We are here deliberately to pass that message to the media. If for no other reason, but for what we believe in, please say positive things about our coastal region. It means everything to us in Kenya. This is the place where you have the great people that developed the spinal cord for Kiswahili. Muyaka bin Haji, for example. Muyaka bin Haji came from this, in fact, almost 15 kilometers from here, across Likoni. And through the contribution of Muyaka bin Haji, he's the first African to take Swahili poetry out of the mosque and start talking about things about marriage, food, and that has enriched the cultural setup of the coastal people. And you can mention the other ones like Abdullah, because this is 17th, 18th century Muyaka bin Haji. But you can talk about Taban Loliong. You can talk about Abdulatif Abdallah, Ustad Balo, Nasir, Malenga Umvita. You know, this is the place. So we come here and we talk about the coast. But I want to ask you, the media, who is going to tell the coastal story? You must speak about the coastal story yourselves so that people can understand. Fadhili Williams, Maulidi Juma, ladies and gentlemen, the famous Tarab icon, Abel Kifoto. These are just a few people that I can remember. But if I go in the field of sports and I'm talking about the coastal area, I don't know how Kenya will look like without the coast. I don't just understand. Leonard Mambo Mbatela, here. Zainab Musa, here. Amina Faki, here. Khadija Ali, here. Salim Muhammad Omar, here. You think these people don't matter to us? If they don't matter to the people of the coast, they matter to us from other parts of Kenya. These people have contributed to what you do, the culture of entertaining media, which you are. I hope everybody knows about Salim Muhammad. He was good. You know, I have never seen anybody with a voice like the one of Salim Muhammad. In my opinion, I rated him ahead of Leonard Mamo Watela. The man had an electrifying voice, and when he used to talk about when he was covering the Safari Rally and even the football, those were the pioneer football commentators, Leonard Mamo Watela and Salim Muhammad. People like Salim Manga learned their trade from there. Sylvester Oyo learned this from Salim Muhammad. If you are lucky like myself, you are around in the late 60s and early 70s, these are the only people that we knew. So, but even that aside, what are we celebrating? In sports, the young generation within the media industry may not know this. This place has produced some of the best goalkeepers. Probably the best goalkeepers in football have come from the coast. People talk about Mahmoud Abbas, but I thought Mohamed Magogo was better. Does anybody in this room remember Mohamed Magogo? He used to play for Kenya Breweries in the 70s. Ali Kajo was there earlier. Rick Solomon was there earlier. Kadir Farah was there earlier. Kadir Farah was a real midfield maestro. These are the people that the media should also be highlighting, not just on Mashujaa Day, but on several occasions to tell the story of the coast. Binzi Mwakolo, these are football players that you find here. I don't know, if you don't highlight these great sports people, what will the children, our children, see as their role models? You must speak about these role models, and we must celebrate them together. I hope that in the Mashujaa Day we are going to have, we shall spare a moment to think about the great sons and the daughters of this region, and we celebrate them. Ladies and gentlemen, because we are here for a short while, and we can't talk about everything, I just now want to switch gears a little bit and talk about the bottom-up agenda. We are here also to celebrate a major hero. The hero that I want you to join me to celebrate is President Ruto. And I will tell you why I want us to celebrate him. In 2018, President Ruto called some of us in this room and said, Kenya must change. And you guys, how can Kenya continue like this? Then we asked him, what do you mean like this? The president argued that we have an economic model, which is a pyramid, where only few people at the top have wealth. And we invest in them so much, and the thinking is that the poor people below the pyramid, if you can draw a triangle in your mind, the many people who are poor below will benefit when you have very few people at the top who own industries, and their wealth can be shared and it can percolate downwards. So he said, if you look at the statistics of Kenya in 1963, Kenya was richer in 1963 than it was in 1970. In fact, by 75, poverty levels were increasing, even when our policy was that we must fight poverty, disease, and ignorance. By 1980, poverty levels were increasing again. It has reached a point where it is unbearable because the model we use is the top-bottom. But even when your brother gets some money, kumuomba pesa akupatie ni vigumu. Sometimes you come from families where you have one rich person, but that wealth can't percolate down to you. Your brother can't pay for you school fees continuously and you are alive. Your brother or sister can't do anything, cannot provide food daily. So that percolation has failed. So as we reached the 2018, President Ruto said, we must change the model. If you look at the people who are resisting the president's agenda, it's because they were beneficiaries of a system that empowers a few and impoverishes many. So as a result of that, the president says, let us now overturn everything, change things. So how do we change things? He said, we are not going to displace the wealth of the people at the top. No. But we shall look within the people at the bottom and empower them so that they are not even a threat to the people at the top. So his focus, instead of going at the top to continue empowering people at the top, the president says, let us start doing things at the bottom. And it is this bottom-up now agenda that you have seen here that we are referring to. So what did he do? You don't empower people at the bottom by doing affordable housing, do you? The people at the top don't need this affordable housing. You don't empower people by doing small businesses at the top. They are already doing big businesses. You don't empower people by universal health care to give people a lot of money. If already people can afford to go to Aga Khan Hospital, the big hospitals, why would you do universal health care? They already can afford that. So the president says, so this bottom-up agenda basically focuses on the lower part of the pyramid. So that's why we have what Engineer Tanui talked about, affordable housing, food security and agriculture. These people at the top don't have a problem of food. They will still import food. But as I talked elsewhere, there is a problem in Kenya. If the president is focusing on the lower part, who is he empowering? These people seated here and even others who are not here. But why would then people say they don't want? I will just explain that shortly because this is the gist of the matter about Madaraka. When you put up a house, Mwanaisha has said, several houses have been put up, some are almost complete in Mombasa County. Here, Kwale, everywhere, across the country. What does housing mean? Members of the media, this one is for you. Please understand the president properly. There has been this description that why are people being given houses and they don't need houses? You know what? The thousands of houses which are being put up have a multiplier economic effect. Housing is not just about houses. I want to emphasize this. When you put up houses, mtu wa matofari pia anapata kuuza matofari yake, small businesses. When you put up houses, mtu wa stima. When you put up houses, hardware, mtu wa mchanga. Housing is about jobs. We are not saying we are going to put up 52 million houses in Kenya. But through the housing scheme, we shall create jobs. Now, we have a different approach to building houses. You know, you have to put many things. The plumbers will come there because we want water to go into that. How many jobs can you create? Just do the calculation yourself. Even when you put up your own private house, see how many people pay school fees as a result of your construction. So, the other big bit that has not been coming out in this agenda of housing is not just the jobs thing, but also there is this bit about agriculture, land, and food security. If you look, and I give this example because maybe Mombasa is different, but if you go to Nairobi, this area around Ruaka, this area around Kiambu now, which used to produce a lot of viazi, potatoes, is now being swallowed by concrete. You know the famous Tatu city is being swallowed by concrete. So until we plan properly and take the housing schemes to areas which are not agriculturally productive, all the agricultural land which produces food is going to be swallowed up, and we shall not have anywhere to produce food. So also the housing, planned housing, is about food security. These things, as members of the media, you should highlight. And the president has talked about these things several times, changing the model, the economic model, to address the problems at the bottom, and also coming out with these 5 pillars. And now we are talking about housing. So as we are in Kwale now, we are celebrating one pillar of the president, affordable housing. Maybe next time we come, we shall be talking about agriculture and food security. But just to highlight something small on agriculture, you see, across the country, I come from the western part of the country. I'm telling you, the food available on our farms and homes, lazima tutafute market. If we don't look for market, we need to quickly rush to build these aggregation centers to store the food so that the market, we can sell when it's right. But we used to service Malawi, Zambia 2 years ago, because that's where we were importing food. Now we have food security because of good fertilizer given to us and a good seed. The money you will save for paying for food expensively from Malawi, you can pay school fees. Ladies and gentlemen, even when this is happening, and this is the crux of the matter, which I want to share with you, when these changes are happening in the country, you will hear noise. You people, as our friends, as a branch of government, very important in publicizing government policy, you must read, do research, and work with the truth. You are intelligent people. You must go around. What informed this kind of thinking? Here, we have a problem. This is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not heard about the Stockholm Syndrome, Kenya's greatest enemy today is the Stockholm Syndrome. And as members of the media, I want to emphasize this Stockholm Syndrome. My colleagues in the government are here too, in the executive. Sometime in the 70s, a few thugs raided a bank in Sweden, in Stockholm, the capital city of Sweden. When they raided, they actually arrested the workers there. And they threatened, if anybody comes in from government to rescue the captives, they would blow up the captives. Yeah, you see how dangerous the situation is. So the security people had to play safe. If we storm in and maybe they have grenades, they will kill all the people they have captured. So they sat there for several days. So the government was forced to take food to them. Because if you don't supply the food, even the captives you want to rescue will also be killed. So they start through the window, they give the food, water. So, you know, as a captive, you cannot pick the food. When you are a captive, you don't pick the food. It is the people who have captured you who go to pick the food. So they start eating the food and then sharing with the captives. Now, finally a plan was developed to rescue the captives in the bank. When they were rescued, And the government declared that these guys are terrorists, those who captured bankers. And therefore they were going to be taken in and jailed. Those who had been captured protested and protected those who had captured them. That's why we talk about the Stockholm Syndrome. In Kenya today, the president and his government are trying to address the problems, the lowest, the problems that affect the base. But the people at the base are being recruited to support those who have enslaved them for 60 years. It is called the Stockholm Syndrome. You reach a point where psychologically you start supporting and protecting and defending those who have tormented you. That is a serious psychological problem which we must all overcome, the Stockholm Syndrome. And so, members of the media, I encourage you, as we celebrate this Mashujaa Day, please help us to fight the Stockholm Syndrome. You assist people, but because they are used to suffering, they support those who have caused their suffering. When the president launches a new medical scheme with more products, people tell you this is not good, we should have continued with NHIF. How many of our people are being taken to India, and that means we sell all our property to have them treated in India? Now when the president says we have a scheme which will isolate these diseases like diabetes and cancer and have them treated for free, you say, no, we don't want this. But do you know, as you say you don't know, you know the big hospitals you are supporting. The Stockholm Syndrome. So ladies and gentlemen, and I think government spokes, I think you also need to pick up this story of the Stockholm Syndrome. You support me, you rescue me from the claws of a lion, and once I'm rescued, and now you say, I've rescued you, so but I'm killing the lion, I start fighting you not to kill the lion, and the lion is charging, and nobody knows who is going to consume next. This one is a very serious matter. So ladies and gentlemen, we can go on and go on, but we are here as members of government. Maybe in such a forums we make our media close the ranks with us. We want to get closer so that you understand the government agenda, you understand the president's agenda. Please save the president from suffering the impact of the Stockholm Syndrome so that we can deal with these 5 pillars. These 5 pillars, including climate change, which is the 6th one. You know, affordable housing, 1, 2, universal health care, 3, food security and agriculture, 4, medium and small enterprise, 5, information and superhighway and the creative economy, 6, you have climate change and the environment. All these things, if we check them, they are dealing with the people at the bottom. Some time back here in Mombasa, you remember these emissions, these dangerous emissions which are coming from a factory with hard metals. It was covered widely. The people who make money are not your common fellows that you meet in a local bar around here. The people who make a lot of money. But do they care about the environmental effects of what they are doing? People with money acquire plots along river banks, and then they sell you. When you build there and there are floods, you are the ones going. You will go with the floods. So, this president's agenda is not about the top bottom. He's talking about the millions of Kenyans who are suffering, and he's saying, let us do something about it. And we can do something about it through those pillars. And when we do that, people can understand, they will improve their life. The final thing that now, as I come down to close my remarks, is therefore, as members of the Fourth Estate, spend some time now, you get back and check the agenda. But after you check the agenda also, understand the president's philosophy. What is the president's philosophy when he picks this agenda? 5 pillars. It is about empowerment. So when I was listening to my colleagues, John Ololtu are talking about hotels, give people jobs, so that people earn a decent job, they are empowered. You need dignity. If you are a husband, you go home without food, your capacity to be a father is undermined. You are a mother, you go home, you have nothing. So creating jobs brings dignity to our people. So the president's agenda is empowerment. And so he wants to empower people so that they can transform their lives and not be dependent on others. Ladies and gentlemen, at the coast here, because we are doing it in Kwale, the people who live here, and I'm sure that the engineer and even the administrators, one of the things you need to talk about, and which is very close to the heart of the president, is the question of value addition. I think even if this is not part of the agenda for these celebrations, as administrators, as you look at the government agenda, think about the value addition that we would get out of cashew nuts, the value addition that we would get out of the coconut. There are many things that are produced here which require value addition. It is through value addition that we make more money. If you look at crude oil from the Middle East, crude oil is very cheap comparing to the amount of money you will make out of the many products that come from crude oil, petrol, oil, lubricants, gas. How many products can we make out of the coastal coconut? How many products can we make out of the coastal orange, the coastal mango? How many are we going to go? Even the coastal fish, what are we going to make out of it? If you do that calculation, the products you make there will translate into money and the jobs. At a small level, that's what the agenda of president is with regard to empowerment. So let us use this agenda as a framework for us to explore to different directions and make sure that when we start working with the information superhighway coming, we are able to do value addition, get to the rest of Kenya through this empowerment that Tanui was talking about, through digital hubs, get digital skills, but also communicate with the citizens of the world in Singapore, get online jobs, but as you do the jobs also, tell them about the value addition of products that we are producing in Pwani, which we can sell to them. That after they have done their work, they need to eat some cashew nuts. And that there are other products around cashew nuts they can eat. And you know all you need is, if you are connected through the digital hubs, right now, we changed, you know, we are no longer digging the mitaros to put the green wire, the fiberglass. We are now using Kenya Power lines. And we are not even strictly speaking now talking about 100,000 kilometers. The president has said, we can talk about 100,000 kilometers, but now we're talking about 8.6 million households. So we want to take that wire. When you see that green wire on the power poles, it is going into your transformer. That's what we want to do. Working with the World Bank and other companies, we want to take that so that when you are seated in your own home, you can communicate, you can order for things. Through the e-commerce platforms that we have, you can order for things from other countries. They can come through our post, and then they will be delivered through the last mile deliveries, through post office and other courier services without problems. That is how we want to empower people. We are not telling you that we want too much government in the people's lives, But government has a duty to make sure that whatever it does, it empowers people to be independent and only come to government when it is necessary. The idea of us distributing food to people when we have a country so endowed like ours should go. Ladies and gentlemen, I would say many things. But for now, because I know the bigger leaders are also coming tomorrow, they will have the idea. But for us as government, we have communicated what you think, and I'm sure if you were to give me some marks out of 10, you will say, if you are fair, because some lecturers are not fair, but if you are fair, you will say, Mwalimu has got some 5 out of 10 in explaining what the government is doing. So, what I have not done, members of the media, because there are some areas you are better than most of us, please help us to explain this to our people so that the disinformation we see around does not take root and does not take shape. Sasa kwa hayo machache nataka kuwatakia kila laheri na kuwashukuru sana kwa sababu mmekuwa hapa leo na mmehudhuria hafla hii, na waombea dua njema. Nadhani tuko hapa kesho kutwa na mtondo, sio? Hata kuna watu watakaa wengine mpaka kuna wale wako na mikutano hapa, lakini ni kusema kwamba tuishi kwa amani, na viongozi mko hapa, hasa wale wanaotoka katika afisi ya rais na utawala, muweze kuhubiri amani na umoja. Watu wetu wote waishi kwa amani na wajue kwamba sisi wote tumesimama nyuma ya rais na serikali yake kuunganisha Wakenya wote. The coast is a place for everybody. We want the unity. Nobody should discriminate against anybody. Make sure we live in harmony, in peace, share ideas, share opportunities, and make sure that our country moves forward. We have no space for division. We have only space for development, progress, support, and unity. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Mmepata vile mmetueleza. Nataka kuannounce kwamba tutaenda kwa Q&A. You are media and you must be having issues you want to have clarity on it. And Mr. Kamere will be able to handle that session. But also I want to announce that I have the chief guest speech, the LC. You can get both the hard copy and the soft copy from Mr. Kinoti. Kinoti stand? Yeah, that is Mr. Kinoti. You can be able to access the speech from the RC, both in soft and hard copy from that gentleman. For this session, the Q&A, because of the time has gone, is almost some minutes to 11. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Q&A, question kidogo tu. We can limit ourselves to a few questions. And Kamere, come here and handle this session. You want to handle it? Yeah, I want to. Yeah.
Good morning, PSS government spokes, members of GAO, colleagues from the media. My name is Matthew Amere from the President's communication team. Just want to take you through a quick rundown for tomorrow, then we agree on the logistics about how we move. I propose that we agree together that after this we go to the grounds at the Kwale Stadium at 12:30. so that we're able to agree on the positioning of OB vans and we look at the access points. For facilitation of access, we have press badges that are going to be issued. I believe they're being issued at the door while we exit. Remember, this is for all those who are accredited, and the access for media will be strict.